Call or text us 800-400-3697. Certainly in this next segment, we welcome your feedback. Maybe we missed the mark. Doubt it, but it's possible as we solve our listeners' problems. And if you've got a problem, remember, you can always email it to us at badadvice973@gmail.com. I always feel like sometimes I check it a few times during the day. I go to bed. I've looked at all the things. And then it's in the morning when I look at it that there'll be like 3 or 4 new problems. I'm like, the middle of the night problem. The thing you're sitting there, it's keeping you awake. Write it down for us. Let us sort that out for you. Okay, we're going to begin with, I guess I just won't say this person's name.
What? Oh, right.
Seeing if she says not to. Dear Alice family, here is my problem. It involves a friendship or a former friendship that I'd like to rekindle, and I don't know if I should or even how to. Here's the problem. A good friend of mine, a former friend of mine, who
Are we talking about a boyfriend or girlfriend? Or
there's a friend.
Just a friend,
This
okay.
is a woman and her friend.
All right.
I believe it's a woman. A good friend of mine, a former friend of mine, who was very warm, loving, kind, and generous, and all things friends should be, except for this one issue. Whenever we would talk, via the phone usually, there was always something unpleasant going on in her life, or something that she couldn't take, or somebody she couldn't stand. Me, being the good Libra friend that I am, would always try to give a suggestion or advice that I thought would be helpful. Her response was always harsh. That's not it. That won't do. No, 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 no. So after a while, I decided it's too draining to try to help her communicate because there was no placating her, and she just wanted to, it's like the whole thing where we've got a God-given right to complain. Mm-hmm. And this person, she's actually getting bitten back for, so you just want me to listen. So I decided to tell her that this is my issue and that she was draining me emotionally and that I was dreading even having conversations with her. Well, she decided to tell me what it was about me that bothered her. And you'll love this. It was the fact that whenever she would tell me something, I could never remember the endless, countless, minute details of her life. I thought, isn't that rich? Lol. So anyway, she dropped me. She wouldn't return any emails or phone calls. I know she's pissed off. It's been well over a year, but I miss her. The caring her. What should I do? Signed, lost, confused, scared, and still a little annoyed. I feel like you solved your own problem a year ago. And you're crazy to want to let this person back in your life. It sounds like a terrible person, and you're well shut of them.
It doesn't... Did I miss the part, maybe? She's saying they mostly were friends on the phone?
No, she said they would talk. They were friends, and she was a good friend, and they would talk. She said whenever we would talk, mostly on the phone, there was something unpleasant going on in her life. And there are people who need phone maintenance. There just are.
Yeah.
You got to wean those people out of your life. I'm not going to sit on the phone with you all day. I'm trying to give myself a brain aneurysm. Stop it.
Well, I have one friend whose drama is always on display, and I don't mind because I'll just sit there and just hear it and be like, whatever.
Did you go to lunch with this? Who?
No, I'm a man. We don't go to lunch with our man friends.
You just went to lunch with your man friends just the other day.
That was a work event.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'm just saying, I don't mind. I'll listen. Tell me a story or whatever. But I'm not also trying to solve it, and I'm not taking it to heart because I know this person will have a new drama another day. That is just the way it is.
If they do have a new drama every time, that's refreshing. I ditched a friend because every time I would go to lunch with her, or I wasn't talking to her on the phone, but I would catch up every couple of weeks. We'd go out for lunch. And it was always the same. It was the same person that she was bitching about the same things, that she was bitching about all the problems that she was having. And I would, and the first few times you're like, try this. What about this? You're just trying to be a helpful friend. And then I'm like, okay, so she just enjoys bitching about this person.
Yeah, I think
in the situation.
I have absolutely.
But I was sick of it.
Well, then that makes I don't mind get your frustration, get it out. It's very one-sided because I'm certainly not going to sit down with this friend of mine and be like, well, now let me tell you about what's wrong in my marriage or what's wrong with work or what they do. And he doesn't.
Right. And she didn't.
And so, but I don't mind because I'm not going to get into that stuff with him.
Plus, you've talked for 40 hours that day anyway.
That's part of it.
I actually like friends that'll keep the conversation going.
I don't mind just sitting there and letting it wash over me. Yeah. It's all good. So I do think that and you hear this about men mostly, really, that when a woman is venting and saying what's wrong in her life, a guy feels the need to fix it. Yeah. Let's fix that for you. And often a woman will say, I'm not looking for you to fix my problem. I just needed to express how I'm feeling about a certain situation in my life.
And sometimes that is the solution. Mm-hmm. Just, I got it out.
Get it off my chest.
And I have a teammate who listened to it, understood, and was supportive. Like, the worst thing you can do is when you go, well, what, don't you think that maybe you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I was not asking for you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I was telling you so that you would support me unconditionally.
Well, and guys, back to the guy thing, which this is two women, but guys will feel like they should fix this thing for you. Here's what you should do.
Yeah.
You know what you should do is, well, that isn't always what someone wants to hear.
Right.
So I would suggest, though, okay, back to this person's problem. If I were trying to get back together with a friend that I would approach them in person and I would have a conversation with them face to face about how I miss you. I miss you. And I made a mistake or whatever when I, told you what's what. And I hurt your feelings, obviously.
And you hurt mine.
And you hurt mine. Look, I get that, though. There are even times where I tell my 7-year-old something and she'll go, no. And I'm like, what? You might want to consider I have a little more life experience than you. Maybe I'm right.
No, you're not.
And you get that like, what the? But in reality,
with an eye roll soon to come.
In reality, you just need to zip it. Let this person get it off their chest and move on. If you clearly miss them, just stop trying to fix their thing for them.
I say your problem was solved a year ago. I get it. You know what? This is why people get back together and then break up again, because they forget all the things. Like, you're like, oh, it wasn't so bad. I loved this person. I can't even really remember why we broke up in the first place. As soon as you get on the phone with her and she starts bitching about her stuff again, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this.
Well,
I'm with Vinnie though. Down. I have a friend that always has the same problem and is always bitching about it. And at first I was like trying to give suggestions and then realized there's no sense in it. She just needs to vent. So just let her vent and let her, and then let her feel better. And I also think we use that word boundaries. It's kind of overused, but get back with her, talk with her, set some boundaries and see if it works out. If it doesn't, whatever, you're out a friend again. But I mean, why not give it a shot, Sarah?
No, I'm done with that lady. And how dare she turn it around on you? You were trying to be a nice listener.
Well, it's weird that's the way that went down. But I do think, we all have sort of communication problems, but at the heart of a friendship should just be two people who like each other and have some shared experiences, and you should just try to be friendly with one another. Like, that at the core is what friendship's about, being friendly to one another.
Yeah, I feel like don't do it, but if you really must, then listen to the boys.
There's not enough in this note to be sure, but you have 1 million friends. You didn't for a long time when we first moved here.
Well, we had moved every 2 years for many years.
And then through your kids, you found this very big friend group. And so you're not looking for any more stuff because you've got a pretty solid group and you guys do things together and jam together and party together. So that's cool. You don't need, this person may not have a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's true.
That's writing in.
Couple texts. Let's see here. 415. Start the conversation. Are you looking for support or do you just want me to listen and do you want advice? Okay.
That's a way.
That is actually a pretty direct. That's not insulting either.
310. Sarah nailed it as usual. 415. Can you explain, Vinnie, why you don't go to lunch with male friends? And I'm going to lunch with a male friend today,
John
by
goes
the
to
way.
lunch with guys. Well, actually, he goes to golf with guys and they eat lunch while they're there.
Yeah, that's not the same as sitting down and going to lunch to catch
up.
Right.
It's because of my lifestyle and where my friends are. I'm commuting home at lunchtime.
I want to eat lunch at 10:30. That's when and I'm already starving.
I almost always, and this is not me complaining, but I almost always am eating lunch at a New Leaf or a Whole Foods at the salad bar, and I'm walking out of there with this little meal I'm going to eat. And
that salad you made the other day. It looked delicious.
I'm on salads right now. As you know, I've got a couple LBs to drop. But that's where I eat lunch. Has nothing to do with hating my friends, but I don't have people available in the middle of the day to be like, hey, let's have some lunch.
And a lot of restaurants don't open until 11:30 anyway.
Right.
Which is, so I have friends who want to go, and I actually don't love going out to lunch. I feel like I want to eat the minute I get home. I know what I'm going to have, and then I got my other stuff I got to do that day. And then now I got to go home, wait for an hour and a half, starving to death. For some restaurant to open. Oh.
No, when I get to spend time with a friend, I'll give you an example. My friend Brian McCutcheon. We get together and go surfing.
Yeah. See, you have like a shared interest. You can chit chat or not.
I mostly will do that by myself as well. But when we are going to get together, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Or we get the families together and that's just a whole thing. It's an event.
Right. It's kind of like a little family party.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why I don't.
Anybody else want to weigh in on this one before I go on to the next one? Next bad advice?
Oh,
this is
the one. Get to
Batter up.
Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is from a man. Good morning. First off, I'm a longtime listener who has a long commute to work each morning, and your show makes my drive enjoyable, even on the worst days. So thank you, and please keep me anonymous. Thank God he put that in there.
I feel you.
Yeah.
With the drive.
I have been married to my incredible wife for 8 years. We have 2 awesome kids. We have a great life and are very happy for the most part.
But
over the past year or so, I have really been questioning my sexuality.
Oh.
I've always been open-minded and always thought I might be bisexual. A few months ago, a buddy and I had a little bit too much to drink, and he got really touchy with me. He has a girlfriend, which kind of threw me off. I can't stop thinking about him and about that night. I'm really attracted to him, and I would love to hook up with him. I'm assuming he's bi or gay, or maybe he was just drunk. Anyway, I experimented with a guy in college. They did that one thing to each other. He says, I don't think you can say that one on the air. Can't. But I think everybody knows what you're talking about.
Is it Kissing Australia?
Uh-huh. Anyway, I experimented with a guy in college and really enjoyed it. Women are beautiful, but wieners are fun. Haha. I suppressed my feelings after college, but now they're coming back. I love my wife, but I literally cannot stop thinking about being intimate with a guy. I have even watched gay porn recently, and I kind of enjoyed it. I've been really sad, confused, and frustrated lately. I've never met you guys, but I really value your opinions. I know what advice Bob will give. Thank goodness he's giving Bob's advice for her. Life is short. Talk to my wife and hook up with a guy. Talk to your wife and hook up with a guy. That's Bob's advice. And that is exactly what she would say.
Nailed it.
Might be what I say, too. But I really value your opinions. My biggest fear is that I'm gay. Fear that he's gay. Or bisexual and will tear my marriage apart. My wife is definitely a little more conservative and not as open-minded. She would not be okay with me experimenting. Sincerely, a confused bisexual or maybe closeted gay man. Ooh. All right, I went first last time. Somebody else go first. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Well, so the part that he ended with, which is I might be gay, is the big catch. If you were talking about a simple hookup, I would say, be it a man or a woman, do not throw your family unit in the garbage over a hookup.
Because you're curious and you were turned on, and that's not an itch that you're going to scratch and be done with.
That is the whole point of locking, like when people, I locked him down or I locked her down, is that you've got them to yourself, and that's the idea.
You've made a commitment to someone.
Of a traditional marriage, which is you and me, and we start.
And you have 2 kids, like you have committed to
a
family situation.
So what I would say is, if this is simply just experiment, believe me, most people see someone they'd love to experiment with, whatever their situation may be.
Right.
I would love to experiment with that lady. But the point is, you don't get you will be potentially throwing away your family unit over that experiment. But it sounds to me way more like that you have suppressed real desire to be traditional, and now you find yourself in that place where it can't be contained. So if that's the case, I would say you're wasting her life and your own, unfortunately, living a lie.
I actually agree. Well, I'll let you.
Dude, you're gay. I think you're gay, and you're just you think that you put it down for a long time, but it sounds like you're gay. Go be gay. Tell your wife what's going on. See if she's okay with it. But if she's not, it sounds like this is something the rest of your life you'll be sitting on a big part of who you are, and regretting it, and you'll end up making it much worse. Be worse on her, worse on the kids, worse on everybody.
I do think that my feeling on this is that this is a decision that you have to make. I'm not saying you get to decide to be gay or not. I'm saying that you have made a commitment to a woman and you have 2 children with her. And I would never say, just experiment and cheat. Like, I think cheating is no good. If you can help yourself. I'm not saying people don't do it, and I'm not condemning anyone who does, but I feel like you owe it to that wife to maybe go talk to a therapist, talk to someone, try to get your own head around who you are and what you want, because now is the time, not sneaking around and she finds out and now the kids are, 25 years old and all of a sudden dad's coming out of the closet. Like, no, just figure out who you are, make a decision, and go with it.
Let me ask you a question. If John came to you, this is your husband of 30 years.
Yes.
And he came to you and said, I don't know any other way than to just say it. I'm gay and I want to pursue a relationship with a man. What would you do?
Well,
because I know if my wife came to me and said, I have figured out that I'm lesbian and I cannot suppress it anymore. This is just me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I encourage you to go do that.
Find out who you are.
I want you to go live that life. I do not want to hold you back. I have never been someone who, like, that whole, don't leave me. What do I have to do? Like, I don't think you can keep people in your life that way. Like, that's not how it works.
Well, and also, if they've just come out to you about their sexuality, no matter how much begging you do, it's not going to change the fact that they are who they are.
So I personally would say to a person my wife who came to me, I would say, unless she absolutely was lesbian and knew the whole time and this whole thing was a lie from go, I would be like, yeah, then that's what we need to do. Because we have 2 kids and we've got to stay solid adult human beings for their sake.
Yeah.
So what would you say to John?
Well, I'd be really surprised. And I would still not want to lose him. I do feel like I don't know that I could. I don't know. I would be like, okay, you have to go figure that out. But if you're saying you're gay, then I'm going to accept that this is the end of our sexual relationship.
Yeah, there's a reality where I think some
probably
people
our marriage
might try to, like, maybe even Bob might try to come up with a way
I can be cool about this.
We can, sort of work around. You can still go have that, but have this too. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say you should go be gay when you want. Like, take, every other weekend you can go be gay.
Yeah, go on a gay retreat, whatever.
I can't have that. Like,
you would want to be able to focus on whatever your future happiness is.
I want to be with a person who wants me, and you should be with someone that you want.
I'd be like, okay, move into the guest house, and I'll just live here in the house, and, we'll hang out. I'll bring you lunch, and we'll...
I don't want to lose my guitar player.
And honestly, that's one of the big things. Plus, who's going to make me dinner?
Right.
He really is a good cook.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know that there's an easy answer here. I personally think you should go talk to someone. First step, ask your radio station. Solid. Check. Now, find someone to talk to about this. Sort this out for yourself. Know who you are. Know what you want. And make a decision. It's better for your kids.
I do think the tear here, part of the reason for the letter, and maybe I'm wrong, is that what if he were to say all this stuff before he tries this person out, and then he tries the person out and realizes, you know what, I'm not gay.
Yeah, I was just like in some weird thought pattern.
We worked with someone who was married, and he told his wife that he thought he was gay, and she's like, well, how do you know if you haven't done anything? And he's like, well, okay, yeah, I've done stuff. So they ended up being friends after that, but yeah, so like if you haven't tried it,
this guy has tried it.
Yeah,
he's had some experimenting, and he's turned on by this friend of his.
I think that if you find yourself preferring to look at two men together when you're looking for inspiration, then that's pretty clear indicator that you're into that.
Couple
and
texts.
Maybe the wife is like, all right, well, I'm busy raising the kids, and you hang out and go to, who the hell knows? But you can't just live a lie.
Well, you also can't bet on that being the reaction,
That
because I
won't
think
be
the
the
reaction
reaction.
will be, well, then we need to separate.
Thank you. You've just blown my life up.
Mm-hmm.
A couple texts. We have somebody on line one who actually had a dad who was her name is Tracy.
All right, hold on a second. It takes me a second.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right.
A couple
Tracy.
texts while you get that up.
Right, I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Tracy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, your thoughts. You have someone who came out later in life?
Well, no, he never came out. So my father, who was a military gay man for 25 years, military colonel for 25 years in the military, married 25 years, never really officially came out. But after my mom passed and after he passed, in his funeral, the room was full of his gay men friends. And this was never discussed. And he was illustrated and the band played on. Actually, it was the author who did another book about military people, gay military people that were in the closet. And my dad was actually highlighted in that book. Oh. And it was just a trip. Like, it was a total trip. Even to this day, amongst my siblings, we talk about, Dad never talked about it. It was never mentioned. But after my mom died, he had a lifelong companion until he passed. It was an absolute trip.
Do you think better of him that he stuck to the family unit and did that on the down low, or are you sad that he, like, it's almost tragic that he had to live a lie to keep up whatever
appearances? Right.
So yeah, it was tragic because I think there was deep down, because he was from the South. He was in the military. I think deep down he really hated himself, but at the same time he wasn't able, like, I think my mom was miserable in that marriage. Like, She ended up, she was an alcoholic. Like, I think she really struggled in that. And I feel sad because, I'm from, California, the Bay Area, and for years I tried to get him to open up about it, but he would never, ever talk about it. In fact, I had a friend that's gay, very close friend, and he and I went, because they lived in Shreveport, Louisiana, my dad did, and we both went back, and he was trying to get my dad to talk about it, my dad was a storyteller, whatever, and he said to me, he's never going to talk about it. And even the close friends that I would meet after my mom passed, and you saw that he had these friends and relationships, they would never talk about it. It was so tightly.
It's so sad. It's actually really tragic. It is tragic. But in the end, he got to have a partnership, and obviously he had a life that he enjoyed. But what a tear! Like, and you grow up here where it's like, who cares, Dad? It's fine.
So let me ask you a question. What was your name again? Tracy. So hearing that letter that we just read, what would you say to this man, having seen that within your own family? Would you say this guy should go be gay, or do you think this guy should carry out his vows and live his life as he's planned it?
I guess the question is, what's the barrier for him coming out? Like, what is preventing him? Because I think that if he
it's
can
the
be
marriage,
the wife and kids.
Yeah.
Right. So does the wife and kids know? So then that's the first question I would have.
Apparently
and then
not yet.
If they don't,
the texters are saying a lot of a couple gay folks texted in and said she knows. She knows.
Oh.
Like they think that she probably knows.
I don't see how you could not know, honestly.
So you think your mom knew?
But I think that if I don't know. I never, because I was 19 when she died. I don't know. It was never discussed. But I think she had to have known, because my dad also was put on trial in 1968 when he was in the military because he was seen in an area he wasn't supposed to be seen, and there was a 9-month trial. And I found that out like when I was 17. I mean, it's God! It just goes.
She knew.
Okay, yeah, so she knew.
So my mom knew. But I think that if he can be more authentic and be who he is, I think that the fear of him saying something far exceeds the actual being honest. And I think he'll have a more authentic life, a happier life.
Be true to
Absolutely.
yourself.
And when you think about what
All right, thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy. When you think about what she's saying, it's that beard thing.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the worst possible thing you can do to someone else's life is to make them live a lie too.
Use them as cover.
Like that is them living. They're living a lie as well.
Yep.
And that she talks about her mom. I'm sure her mom. It was a time when people didn't talk about it in a place where it was less accepted. She was probably stuck and probably they'd stopped being together many years before she
had a couple kids and he was like, great, got my family.
Right.
Went on with his life.
And they were getting late, but 408. I was married to someone for 16 years who finally told me he was gay. It destroyed our family. My kids all took sides and don't even speak to each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, sometimes to get to something true and good in your life, you have to open up and tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may, and do your best to try to understand what they're going through and hope that they'll try to understand what you're going through. I mean, there is no simple solution to this.
No, but I do think that you can't sit there and live a lie.
I agree.
With any kind of hope that you'll have a joyful life.
Well, you'll never be whole.
You'll always be
hiding something. Yeah. There'll always be that little just feeling inside you that you're lying to this person or you're lying to that person. Or
gosh, this one's a doozy, but I really want you to follow up with us.
Yes, please.
When you decide what it is you're going to do. I think you're just looking for that the push, and I think it's the right thing to do is to just go be honest and go live your best life, and hopefully the reaction isn't that everyone has to take sides and it becomes this I'm going with dad and you're going with mom kind of thing.
I'm just telling you who I am and trying to be honest with you. I'm your dad. Yes, we want feedback. The woman who's broken up with a friend or not, that's also somebody that would be interesting to hear back what they decide to do. And of course, you can always send that stuff to badadvice973@gmail.com. What? Oh, you're pointing at the clock. The clock, the schmuck. Come on. The schlock.
What? Wake up. Thank you. With Sarah and Vinnie.
Ding, 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 ding.